It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy, coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Go ahead.
Jay Pennell, HardcoreRaceFans.com. Last week, towards the end, in that final segment, you kind of came over the radio and seemed to, I don't want to say give up, but kind of say, well, we'll get them next week. And you also commented on possibly having a loose wheel. Is this something that has continued? Have you looked at this in-house and tried to figure out what's going on there?
Yeah. It's been tough for us. We've had some problems, and you know, we think we have a parts issue. You know, we've changed all of our wheel studs and lug nuts out for the 600. But we did get back to the shop, and we're finding issues with all the cars, not just my car. So we think that possibly the speed, the vibration, the loading. You know, this place is really, really fast. So is Darlington. It's these are probably the two of the highest loads we see on the right side tires are these two racetracks because of the speed, especially Darlington. You know, Darlington was over the top on cornering speed on those right side tires. So that is going to pry on those wheel studs and lug nuts and put a tremendous amount of force on them. And it's going to make them come loose if the hardware is not mating properly. You know, and there's probably a whole science to this, you know, thread pitch and lug nut and the amount of slop on the stud it has, and there's probably a whole thing to that, you know, certainly we don't understand and everybody else, but we think that there was a hardware issue with what we were using possibly, and so we switched out to what we've used in the past for the 600, and we're switching all of our cars back out. Well, we switched 4 of our cars over a few weeks, you know, a while back to some different hardware that seemed to be on and off. We could get the tire changers liked the equipment better, and possibly that might be some of our issues, we think, with this. But that was my question: how many other teams in the garage are using this equipment? And that question we can't answer. You know, we believe that there's other people. Well, we know there's other teams using them because we see the name on the boxes, on their pit carts and everywhere else. So we're just taking all precautions for the 600 to go back to, we know what works, we know we've used this in the past and haven't really had issues.
Other questions for Greg? Anybody else? Got one here, and then let's go to Tom and then Jim Peltz. Go ahead.
Greg, just to follow up to my earlier question, a lot of drivers have said they'd like to see a change made with the car to make it easier to drive, or you know, more front end travel or something. Is there anything that you can think of that could be changed on the car to make it less temperamental and less susceptible to being so on the edge setup wise?
You know what? I'm probably not the best guy for that because. You know, maybe some of our engineering team might have a better idea what makes the thing so temperamental. I don't know what makes it so temperamental. We're still trying to figure that out. We're trying to pinpoint that, pin the tail on the donkey almost. So, you know, we're searching around what makes it do. We're still learning. There's so much to learn about this car. We got a long ways to go, and I wouldn't really change anything. I think it's a pretty good platform to build on. You know, there are things that we could probably change to make the car racier, if you will, but and possibly changing the splitter height might be one of those things. But we spent a lot of time and a lot of technology getting it ironed out where it's at, so it's tough to start just making major changes on that car. But years in the future, I'm sure NASCAR's going to, you know, tweak on that thing.
Go ahead, Jim.
Jim Peltz, LA Times. You sort of answered the question, but I mean, Kyle was just in here and somebody asked him if he thought Sunday night was going to be a repeat of the All-Star race in terms of the competitiveness of it. He said it's going to be exactly the same thing, indicating it was going to be a very long night with very little passing. It's a long race to not have much going on. Now, you said you thought the traffic and having all the cars on the field might make a difference. Is that the way I understand it?
Yeah, definitely is going to. You know, you got to remember, I led the third segment, and the 31 car was in the middle of 3 and 4. I was in the center of the backstretch. That's 20 laps. I caught him. So if there were 43 cars, I'd have been passing lap cars at that point. I would have been passing lap cars. And that is going to put, that's what we all see, you know, when we see races. We see lap cars. We're going around, like if you think of Richmond or someplace like that, you know, and then it puts the side-by-side racing back in it. You know, the reason why it looks so boring is a 1.5 mile racetrack. The fastest car got to the front, the thing kind of strung out. You know, we only had 22 cars in the field. So, you know, you're not going to see a whole lot of racing, you know, because there wasn't enough cars. Now, if it was if it was a Bud shootout or whatever, when you have restrictor plate cars and they're all bunched up, you know, and there's only 20 of them, you're going to see something exciting. But on a downforce racetrack, I don't think you're going to see a lot of exciting stuff in you know, 20 laps with only 20 cars. I think it's going to take, you know, the night. I think it's going to be a good race. I think you're going to see passing. You're going to see strategy, definitely. You're going to see 2 4 tires, no tires. Then the guy's going to have to come and put tires on. He's going to get back in traffic. It's going to be exciting. There's going to be 15 cars a lap down, 10 cars a lap down, restarts. You know, it's going to be a bunch of stuff going on.
Other questions for Greg? All right, Greg, thanks a lot.
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
guys.
Have a good run.